Well, hello, 8th grade. Welcome to the new normal for now. Normally, we would go through this as a PowerPoint in class, but since we don't have that option right now, we're going to do the next best thing. I'm going to be narrating this as we go through the PowerPoint presentations that you will need to know for this unit. So as this unit says, we will be going over energy pyramids. And so what you need to know is how is the flow of energy through an energy pyramid diagrammed. So part of this is going to be a little bit of review from the last unit we did. So first off, we need to understand where energy comes from in a living system. So all living things are going to need energy. You know this. Energy made by plants through photosynthesis is transferred to an animal that eats it. The organism then transfers the energy to the next organism, which eats it, so on, so on. So it all comes from plants, but really it all comes from the sun, like you can see there. I'm going to grab a pen here so we move on. So this picture gives you kind of an idea. We have it coming from there. We're going to use the energy pyramid to try and diagram how that energy moves through an ecosystem. Before we were talking about food webs and which organisms are affected by each other. Now we're just talking about general areas and how they are moving on. So we go through and some vocabulary that you're going to need. The first one you're going to need is called a trophic level. Trophic levels is the feeding position in a food chain or energy pyramid that an organism occupies based off what it eats. So the trophic level 1, that's going to be your plants that are getting it from the sun. Trophic level 2 are going to be your primary consumers, and then moving on up. Energy will decrease from lower to higher trophic levels. So every trophic level you go up, energy levels are decreasing. Biomass, living or organic matter, decreases from lower to higher trophic levels. So the biomass that you have in trophic level 1, meaning how much living matter is there, such as all of the plants and all of the plant debris that comes off of it, all of the junk that's scattered because of it, there's going to be a lot more biomass down here than there is up here. You can see that anytime you go outside based off of, you see a lot of dead plants and a lot of living plants. You don't see a lot of dead hawks and living hawks. So the biomass does change as we go on. Starting down at the bottom, this is just going to be quick because you've seen all this before. Producers make their energy from the sun, get it through photosynthesis, and it's also called an autotroph. Makes its own food. Next, we have our consumers. Consumers consist of organisms that are unable to make their own food. We call these heterotrophs. They can't make their own food, so they have to get it from the things that they eat, such as eating other plants like the primary consumers or other animals like anything above them. Your primary consumers, these are the first ones, herbivores, cannot make their own food, so they are going to consume plants. Herbivores eat plants. They are heterotrophs. Secondary and tertiary consumers eat primary consumers and each other, meaning not necessarily cannibalism, but they will eat other secondary consumers. So they are carnivores, which means they are going to only eat animals. And they are also heterotrophs, just like before. Then we have our quaternary consumers. There's a big word there that I mentioned a little bit last unit. These are going to be apex predators, meaning that nothing eats them. They're the top of the food chain. Nothing else attacks these apex predators. They are carnivores as well as heterotrophs. Then, lastly, we have our decomposers. They consume dead stuff. They're the garbage man. They clean stuff up. They are active at each level of the pyramid. They break down dead organisms and return its nutrients back into the environment. So they are going to be able to clean up anything that is dead. Now, based off of that, we're going to end this video. It's going to be just shy of 5 minutes. Go back and review it. Find the information you need. Most of this is review from last unit, so you should be pretty good on it. And then we'll come back on video 2 in order to pick up where we left off.